Hi, this is Professor Mary, and this is homework assignment number 6 for Computer Graphic Arts 118 here at Rowan College. So you can see I've already opened up my file. It's called Homework 6, Robot Running and Shooting. So the first thing we're going to do is go down to the layer down here. We're going to call this one Planet. And we're going to click on the keyframe and we're going to drag over the planet surface graphic. We're going to center that horizontally and vertically so it's perfectly aligned. Actually, just to move it over just a tiny bit with my mouse. Alright, and then this is going to stay, the planet surface is going to stay all the way out to frame 335. So we're going to scroll down to 335. Which is about 14 seconds. So we're going to right click there, insert a keyframe, and then I'm going to lock this layer. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a movie clip for the robot to run. So let's go up to Insert, New Symbol, and we'll call this Robot Run. And make sure that it's a movie clip. Alright, so we enter the new timeline for the movie clip, and we're going to name the layer Run, and then we're going to start to sequence the running robot. So the first thing we're going to do is take Run 1, and we're going to drag him onto the stage, and we're going to align him horizontally and vertically. Now I'm going to tell you, for this assignment, I'm not making the graphics perfectly line up anymore. I really want you to try using the onion skin to get practice with that. So the way that we're going to do the run is in frame 1 and 2, he's going to be run 1. And so we're going to do every other frame. So frame 3, we're going to insert a blank a keyframe, click on him, go to Properties, and swap him out for run 2. Then we're going to go to 5, right click, insert keyframe, click on him, swap, run 3. Go to frame 7, oops, run 3, go to frame 7, right click, insert keyframe, click on him, swap him out for run 4. Alright, and then we're going to go to frame 9, insert a keyframe, click on him, swap that out to run 5. Go to frame 11, right click, keyframe, click, swap, run 6. 13, insert a keyframe, click, swap for 6 to 7. And then we're going to go to 15, right click, insert keyframe, click on him. I'm going to swap him out for frame 8, or run 8. And then we're going to go to 17, insert keyframe at 17. We're going to click on him, swap him out for run 9. And then we're going to insert, at frame 20, we're going to insert just a frame. Now, I'm going to turn on the looping, and I'm going to see how it is. So you can see that looks kind of funny. Alright, so he's moving up and down, back and forth instead of staying semi-still. So I'm going to turn on onion skin, and I'm just going to get the frames on. And again, we're just going to click on each frame and make sure his head's relatively in the same place. His arms are going to move and his legs are going to move, but his head really is not going to move all that much. So that's what we want to look at. So by using that onion skin technique, we're able to check the alignment. Now I'm going to turn off the onion skin, turn looping back on, and I'm going to have them run again. Alright, that's much better. Alright, so I'm going to go back out to scene number 1, And before I go any farther, I'm going to go ahead and save this file. So I'm going to go to File, Save As, and of course we name it our last names. CGA 118 homework 6, and we'll hit save, and it will save in this. Alrighty, so now we're back on the planet layer. Alright, and now we're going to go and we're going to make a new layer for the robot. So we're going to type in robot. Robot. Alright. Now what we're going to have him do, the way this timeline is going to work, is he's going to run, and then he's going to come in and he's going to shoot a little bit. And we'll have to do the shooting in a second. Alright, so we're going to scroll back. So in frame 1 on the robot layer, we're going to grab the robot and drag him to the right hand side of the stage over here. So we're going to grab the robot run, which is this movie clip, and drag him and put him over here. Alright, so he's going to start off stage here. Now in about 2 seconds, which would be frame 48, we're going to insert a keyframe, and we're going to have him run across the planet surface, and he'll be off the stage at 48. And then we're going to insert another keyframe at 49, and we're going to have him reverse. So we're going to click on him and go up to Modify, Transform, Flip Horizontally. So that way he goes the other way. Now I'm going to go back to frame 1, right click, Insert Classic Tween. So now he's going to run across the stage, and then he's going to go off the stage and he's going to turn around. Now from 49, we're going to have him run to the middle of the screen. So if it took him 2 seconds to run from one side of the planet to the other side of the planet, if we want him to run from one side of the planet to the center, we're going to do that in half the amount of time, which would be 1 second, and that's going to be 72. So I'm going to click right here on 72, right click, insert a keyframe, and I'm going to move the robot to the middle of the stage. And we can always use our align tool so it gets right in the middle. Now I'm going to click on 73 and I'm going to insert a keyframe, and I'm actually going to swap him out for the standing robot. Alright, and again we're going to have to use the onion skin to make sure that works correctly. I'm going to turn on my onion skin for these 2 frames right here. And I want him to kind of run and then stop and, stand still. Now, I forgot. Back here I need to turn on my tween. Alright, so let's rewind it. So he runs across in 2 seconds, then he comes in, and then he stands. Alright. Now we're going to want him to stand for a little bit of time. So we're going to go out to frame 120, and we're going to insert a keyframe. So he's basically going to stand from frame 73 to 120. Alright, so just to recap, what we've done so far is the robot has run across the stage from frame 1 to frame 48. Then he turns around and he runs into the middle of the stage. Then we swap him out for the standing robot. And then at frame 120, he's still standing, but now we're going to get him to run again. So we're going to click on frame 121. We're going to right click, insert a keyframe. So this is still the standing guy. So we're going to click on him, and we're going to go to the properties, and we're going to swap him out for the robot run. And again, we're going to have to make sure, using the onion skin technique, that these 2 aren't too far off. Alright, and now he's going to run off the stage in about 1 second, so that's going to be about 145. So we're going to right click on 145, insert a keyframe, and we're going to drag him off the stage. Then we're going to go back here to 121, and we're going to insert the classic tween. All right, so let's go ahead and save this, and let's see what's going on so far. So let's test this. So we're going to go to Control, Test. So here he runs across the stage, runs back, stops, and then runs off the stage. All right, so that's pretty good. And we've got the timing in pretty nicely. All right, so from 1:45 to about 191, so we're going to go to 191. Oh wait, first on 146 we're going to insert a blank keyframe because we don't want the robot. We want the robot to be off the stage for a little bit. So then in 191 we're going to insert a keyframe, and we're going to drag the robot back onto the stage here. All right, and then all right, so in 190, so now in 192 we've got the running robot over here, and then we want to have him run relatively quickly in 1 second to the middle of the stage again. So we're going to go to 215, we're going to right click, insert keyframe, and we're going to drag him into the middle of the stage. And again, you can use the align tools to get him perfectly aligned. So now in 116 we're going to insert another keyframe. We're going to click on him. We're going to swap him out for the standing one. We're going to do standing. All right, and then again, we got to do the onion skinning thing. Now you're probably saying, well, Professor Mary, why don't you make the graphics better? Well, I wanted you to practice onion skinning. It's a very important technique that you need to do. All right, so I'm just going to save my work. All right, so in 116, he's going to stand there. So, and I'm going to have him stay there for a second. I'm going to right click on 240, insert a keyframe. All right. And then we're going to need to make the guy shooting now. So we'll come back and do that in just a second. All right, so in frame 216, the robot's just standing still, and we want him to stand still for a little bit. So we're going to go out to 240 and insert a keyframe. So from 216 to 240 for about a second, he's going to stand still. Now in 241, we're going to insert a keyframe. We're going to click on the robot, and we're going to swap him out for the one called Robot Fire. And basically it's the same graphic, just the robot's arm is up on his gun. And of course we want to use the onion skin technique excuse me, to make sure that he doesn't jump a lot. Alright, so I'm going to move this one, oops, undo, Control Z, my favorite command. I'm going to move this one up just a little bit. So I'm just going to get the onion skin on those two. I'm going to move this guy up here so it just looks like his gun goes up. Excuse me, all of a sudden I have frog voice. And there goes our clock that we have, our new clock that we have in our house. Alright, so in 241 we have the robot, and we're going to click on him and swap him out for the robot called Robot Fire. And the only difference between the graphics is this one has the gun up. So I need to turn the onion skin on for these two frames to make sure this one is not moving dramatically. So just going to go from 241 where it's his arm's down to 242 where his arm's up. And I'm going to save this work just for good measure. Now what we need to do to get the this to fire, we need a couple more layers. So I'm going to add 2 new layers. So I'm going to add one more layer, another layer, and of course one is called layer 1 and one is called layer 2, which are terrible layer names. So I'm going to call one flame, and the other one is going to be sound, because we want the sound to go when it fires. Alright, so at frame 250, on the flame layer. I'm going to insert a keyframe, and then I'm going to go to the library, and I'm going to drag over the flame graphic. And there's only really one flame graphic, so I'm just going to put it right here in front of the gun. And again, you can move it with the mouse, or you can move it up and down with the arrow keys. So we're placing the flame right in front of the graphic. Then what we're going to do is we're going to have in about a half a second, which would be about 265 of the frame layer, we're going to right click, insert a keyframe, and we're going to grab this flame and we're going to have it go off the stage to the left. And then I'm going to come back to 250 and right click and insert a classic tween. That way from 250 to 265 it shoots. Now in 266 of the flame layer, I'm going to insert a blank keyframe, and I'm going to grab the flame again and put it back here onto the gun. Put it in position. And then at 281, I'm going to right click, insert a keyframe. I'll move it off the stage, so it's shooting off the stage. And then in 266, I'm going to insert a classic tween. That way it's going to go off. Now, if I want to make one more shot, is there a way that I can, instead of having to do all that, just maybe copy and paste this? Excuse me, really got frog voice there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on 266 all the way down to 281, and I'm going to hold the shift key down to select this group. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to edit, and instead of saying copy, what I'm going to come down here is I'm going to go to timeline, and I'm going to say copy frames. So just don't use the copy command. You have to use copy frames. So I'm going to click copy frames. Then I'm going to go in to 283 and click on the timeline of the flame layer, and I'm going to go back to edit, go back to timeline, and say paste frames. And it will automatically paste in that next shot. So basically what's going to happen is it's going to shoot 3 times. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and save that so I don't lose it. Alright, so now out here at frame 297, I'm going to right click and I'm going to insert a keyframe. Oops, I'm on the wrong layer, sorry. Got to go on the robot layer. I'm going to right click, insert a keyframe, and I'm going to swap him out from my properties panel, and I'm going to swap him out for the one that's running. So basically what he's going to do, he's going to shoot, and then he's going to run off the stage. So I'm going to move him back down here. And then out at let's say 335, we're going to insert a keyframe and we're going to have him run off the stage. I'm going to put my keyframe right here, insert classic tween, and it works. Now you're going to see one thing that's a problem. See how this flame extends right here? So I'm going to grab this and I'll move it back to 335. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this and I'm going to get rid of this by saying clear frames. And then I'm going to delete the frames. I'm going to remove the frames. So now this is going to end at 335. Now we did great with the flames, but we haven't made the sounds go. So what we're going to do is a couple frames before the actual shots start to fire, we're going to put in a keyframe on the sound layer. So I've decided to do it at 247, and you'll see why in just a second. So in 247 of the sound layer, I'm going to right click, I'm going to insert a keyframe. And the way that we're going to attach sound to this layer is we're going to come over to the properties panel, and where it says sound, we're going to come down here and we're going to choose the laser gunshot. Alright, and then I'm going to put another keyframe in 263, insert a keyframe here, and I'm going to put another sound in. All right, and then I'm going to put one more at, let's say, I think it says 279. I have to flip my page here. Hold on. At 279, we're going to put another one in. So we're going to insert another keyframe, and we're going to have the laser shoot. Now I'm going to save this, and then we're going to see how it works, and we're going to have to see how the sound actually fires. So I'm going to play from about 240 on. So I'm going to click. Now the reason that I have the sound playing ahead of time, and you can move this if it sounds a little too early. Sounds take a little time to load. So even though I'm playing it 4 or 5 frames ahead of time, the actual shot, it takes a little bit to load. So even though I put it a couple frames ahead of time, it actually is playing nicely with the animation. All right, so let's go ahead and save this one final time. All right, so I've already saved it. Now I'm going to just do a test. Control menu, test. Will pop up into the test window. There he runs across the stage, runs back, stops, runs off the stage, and he runs back on, and he fires. Now I think I messed something up here. Let's go back here. I think I forgot to put a tween in. So yeah, he comes in the stage here, and then all of a sudden, poof, he's right there. I forgot to put my classic tween in here, so I'm going to right click, insert a classic tween. All right, then we'll test that again, see if that works better. So there he runs across the stage, comes back, runs off, stops, runs off again. Now he's going to run back on, he's going to stop, and he's going to fire 3 shots and then run off. All right, so that's it for homework number 6. I'm going to save this one last time. If you have any questions or need help with this assignment, please come see me during office hours, or please come see me before or after class. All right, this is Professor Mary signing off for homework assignment number 6.